Guys, it's Rebecca Oberstadt. In today's video, I'm working with the Nomad Cosmetics Fire and Ice Palette, or the Iceland Palette. This first part that you're going to see was me just showing you exactly how not perfect I am at makeup. I have very excruciatingly dry skin everywhere. And the day that I went to film this, my inner eye was like very, very, very dry. So the very first part of this, I go to use the palette and it's so dry, the shadow doesn't even want to stick to my eyelid. And as you can see, it's like not going on in some spots, and other spots it looks kind of chalky. That is my patchy dry skin underneath of the shadow. I try getting it to work. This is a Vera Mona shader brush that I'm using, and I even tried using my finger with the shadow, and I did go into a couple of different colors and it just was not working. So I know I used these colors in my first impressions. I even switched brushes here. This is a BH vegan brush, and I was having a hard time due to the dryness of my eyelids. So I washed it all off. I put on the ABH eye primer, which I also think is chalky and awful. It does not look good on my 40-year-old eyelids, and I went back into that Hecla shade. Everything that you're watching is either sped up, like the first part was sped up ×2, and everything else, other than when I'm showing you what color I'm using, is sped up 1.5 times because this was a very frustrating makeup day for me. Even with the ABH eye primer down, I did not have a good time. I even tried putting like oil on at one point, and it was bad. My eyelids were super bad for several days, and so I ended up not wearing makeup for 3 or 4 days, just trying to get my eyelids to not have such severe dry patches on them. That is the Muspelheim color, and if you watched my first impressions video of this palette, you know I've used all of these colors before in a previous look. I just did them in up to down order instead of side to side order. And I wanted to create like that lava flow look, going from inner corner to outer corner with the fresh lava to the moving lava to the cooling lava to the cooled lava kind of color story. And due to the dryness on my eyelid, things just did not want to work. I even tried pressing over the shadows with my fingers. I tried building them up with my finger. I tried switching a couple of brushes. No matter what I did this day doing this look, nothing just worked. So now I'm going into the Odin shade. It's like a grayish blue color. Even this looked patchy on my eye, and I was like, I've worked with these colors before. What in the hell is going on? So I am not blaming the shadows for this at all, because I worked with them last time with this is actually, I'm doing 2 looks in this video. I think I've used this palette at least 6 times before I went into this time, and I'd never had these issues before. That shade is Dark Castles. It's like a brownish gray color. It's not black. It's kind of like a heated charcoal kind of color. And this was the only shade that kind of worked halfway decent out of those 4 shades. And I honestly can't tell you what was wrong. Besides the fact that I know I had dry eyelids, and I am now using a new type of eye cream, and that has helped with the dryness on my lids quite a bit. And so yeah, I've been using a lot of serums and a lot of oils, and when I put the products on my actual face, I do cover them on my eyelids as well. Everything but like face masks and acid peels and stuff like that, those I never put anywhere near my eyes, because I know how sensitive they are. So this was just a kind of like rough makeup day for me. So do not blame this eye on the shadows. When I get into the other eye, I did have some issues on the other eye, but I will explain why there were issues and what you can do to combat those potential issues if you do own this palette. Usually I don't have any issues working with Nomad shades. I can use them and have them build up and blend out easily. They usually do take a little bit of building for me to get them to the pigmentation that matches what you see in the actual pan in the palette. But I don't know, today was just one of those off days, just like the day that I'm like editing this, which is the 24th of February. This video was actually filmed a long time ago. So a lot has happened since then. And just, I'm not even going to use the word disclaimer, but I know about the drama with Nomad. I have talked with Felicia. I have read the information about their Shanghai palette. And to me, it's just makeup. So if you don't like the brand, then that's fine. If you leave a hateful comment on my video, then do not be surprised if you get either a nasty reply back from me or blocked from my channel. I'm trying to look and see when I actually filmed this video really quick. This video was filmed in January. Now, I took that Hell shade on a little Wet n Wild liner brush. I did get the brush wet so I could get it to go on a little bit easier, because this was an all matte look and I just kind of wanted to bring a little bit of pizzazz to the eye look. And I am just following that outer edge. Just something super simple for the line. I did not want to like really rely on eyeliner for this look. I wanted to use the palette. And I love that shade. It's so pretty. And I'm just doing regular liner stuff. I do carry it down below as well to tie in the top line. And I end up getting some of my eye hair in a minute, which I cut all that piece out. I had eyeshadow all over my eyeball. It was bad. I even had to use a Q-tip to help me extricate the eyeshadow off my eyes. Thankfully, I do not wear my contacts very often. I'm only supposed to wear them to ride my motorcycle, and I have very dry eyes anyway, so yeah. All right, this is the other eye. I went into Odin first. It's like I said, it's a bluish gray color, or gray with a hint of blue. And I just used the Urban Decay eye primer on this side instead of the ABH one, because again, I hate the ABH one. And I'm just carrying this top and bottom. And that's a floofy brush that I got from an Ipsy. That is their Ipsy X Tetris brush, but I like how small it is, but it works really well. It's a nice dense blending brush. So it seems to work well. Now, that is the Nord shade. It looks like a steel blue or like a cornflowerish kind of blue in the pan. But if you look at it next to the Odin shade, it does look a little bit more gray. Like they're very, very similar colors on the eye. This one definitely shows more blue. Now, these are both very sheer when you first put them on. As you blend them out, as you can see, it does look very sheer. You can build this up by using like a fluffy shader brush or another type of shader brush or even a packer brush. That is a Ferro brush I'm using there into the Valkyrie shade. Now, this is where I was talking that I would explain what to do this differently. As you see, it went on very sheer, but with my finger, the opacity changed. This is either dual chrome or a multi-chrome. I'm not quite sure which, but I noticed that it was very sheer with the brush. It looks purple in some lights, other lights it looks blue. There's like a pink reflect in it in other lights as well. If you pick it up and look at it, it just depends on what lighting it's in, depending on how it shifts. But in order to get this to be less sheer, I would recommend either putting a like shade underneath of it, whether it's a lavender shade or a like more blue shade if you want more of the blue to show out. The Alfheim is also very sheer, kind of like a topper shade. It's also a multi-chrome, and it looks kind of like purple in some lights. It looks kind of gray in other lights, and I did use my finger to build that up. I would recommend with this one also to put something like it underneath in order to get it to show up more. Or you could use like a glitter glue to make it a little bit more impactful, because it's going to grab it in that area where you put the glitter glue down as a base so that it kind of hangs out more. And I'm just building it up with my finger and then pressing over the shadows to get them to work a little bit better. The last shade that I end up using is River Glacier. It's like an icy blue white shade, and I use that on the inner corner to draw light and brightness there. I have very, very close set eyes. My nose is literally only like half the width of an eye from the other eye. So I have a very close set of eyes, and my face is very narrow. So I use this to kind of like brighten up and make that area look a little bit wider than it is. And I also put it on my brow bone. This shade is very opaque. You don't have to worry about the opacity on this one, but the other two shades I would consider topper shades. And again, I would either put like a purple underneath or like a purpley blue underneath that is like a matte shade, or something that's lighter like a pastel underneath the Valkyrie shade or the Alfheim shade, because of how sheer they are. I didn't really have any problems with the other shades being too sheer. They do build up quite nicely. And here are two more looks using the Nomad Fire and Ice and or Iceland palette. And I think it's neat that, you know, because her husband is from a Nordic country, that Felicia and Auntie, they had created a palette based around Iceland and their history and things like that. And that's why I enjoy Nomad, not just because I like the products and the shadows. I like the stories that they tell with the makeup as well. So here you go. Here are the two looks up close. Let me know what you guys think down below. And I did leave that first piece in on purpose, just so you guys could see that not everybody is perfect. There are some days you do makeup and you just wash that crap off and reapply it, because some things just don't always work out. So let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you in another video very soon. Have a good one. Bye.